Hello crafters, it's Tangi from Papercrafting Australia. Just trying this for the second time today. We will see whether I've been able to reverse all of the changes that I made to try and make some nice quality video for you, and we'll see whether things come back. I'm not sure that our Facebook stream has recovered. I think we are just on YouTube for the moment. Who knows? It's not really telling me much today. So if you're in the YouTube feed, jump in, say hello. If we're still lagging and doing a lot of crazy stuff again, let me know. I might have to abort mission, reset everything, and maybe try this again tomorrow. And not looking so good for us at the moment. Technology, you gotta love it. You try and make one improvement, change one setting, and everything goes pear-shaped. So not sure that we're going to have the best day of it today, but just checking in, obviously just giving people a bit of a chance to jump in and let me know if it is still being very laggy, being very crazy. I can't change a lot while we're live, so it's all one of those things of if I have to log back out, log back in, we might do this all again tomorrow. Let me know. I can see we've got 2 people in on the YouTube feed. YouTube's running nicely. Great. Good to hear. What a palaver. I don't think we've been able to manage to pick up the Facebook stream. So I'll try one more thing because it technically should be doing its thing. But I think it's having a little bit of a panic attack about the fact that I went live and I technically should still be live and I'm trying to still use the same stream code. So it's just, I don't know, it's just a little bit, I don't know. I don't think it's working. But anyway, if we're on YouTube and it's working all right, we might just carry on and do things from there, and I'll check back in and see how we all get on from there. So chances are when I go to my overhead, it's not going to be as pretty as I tried. It might be a little bit grainy. I don't know. We'll just kick on. We'll do it. Yeah, nothing on Facebook. I think that channel stream has died for today. I will try and resurrect that for the next one. But yeah, let's kick on. We already kind of started the jib jab on what the process was, but I'll go back through it because we'll delete the old video. So this one here is the fringed card front that we're going to be working on today. So just using up some scraps of paper from this beautiful Boho Nursery patterned paper pack from Paper Rose. It's one of my favourites. I've been using so much of it in our boxes for the month of October for the Crafternoon Box. But I just can't get enough of it, and I really don't want any of these smallish kind of strips and scraps and offcuts to go to waste. So I kind of drew a bit of inspiration from all of those cute birthday party backgrounds that people are doing at the moment with the nice fringed kind of, layered background walls. And everyone gets their photo taken up against it. It looks really cute. So I kind of took it from there. I did have a bit of a YouTube, Google search. I'm just going to see if I can get this light to stop flickering above me because it's driving me crazy. It is raining outside, so of course all the technology is going crazy today. So I did a bit of a Google search on cards with fringed fronts. There were quite a few around, so it's not a new thing, but I'd already kind of figured out how it was going to work and how it's going to get put together. So we will kick on and do that today. So we're also going to use this great Paper Rose die, which is the Happy Birthday die. It's actually called Happy Birthday Chunky Layered Metal Die. So it's got the background balloon and also the words in front. So we're going to use that in just a little bit. But first we'll get started on cutting up some of this gorgeous paper or finding some of these strips that we're going to need. Now this card, and you can amend these dimensions to whatever you like. These are sort of 1 centimetre kind of sections, but it comes by making a 3 centimetre strip and then fringing that and then layering them over the top of each other. But you can change the distance between these and you can change the height of your fringing depending on what you prefer. So I'll pop that over there. I'm going to pop this onto an A6 card front today. So I've got one of those prepped and ready. And so essentially when you cut your strips, you're going to cut, if you want to match what I've done, it's 3 centimetres tall. And then it's as wide as your card front is going to be. Now, if you wanted to do it landscape, and I might have enough to do a landscape one today, so I might try that to start with. So 105 millimeters across by 3 centimeters high if you're doing a portrait card, and 147 millimeters across if you're doing a landscape card, and 3 centimeters tall there. So we'll get to cutting some strips. I've got, put my camera in a different spot today. I've also got some Kaisercraft Weave cardstock. I don't know that I'm going to need that, but I did like it just for the little strip across the top in my example card. So we will kick on and have a go at this. All right, so I've got my little guillotine here. Just going to measure this one and see. I think this might be one that I already cut before off another piece. So yeah, so that one's 3 centimeters. So I'll take a bit of that. Don't forget, if you're using directional paper, to make sure that your pattern is going to run in the correct direction. Now, these papers being double-sided means that I can cut 2 3 centimeter strips off these, and I can use one facing one way and one facing the other way. So double-sided papers, super versatile. All right, I've used one of those. That one doesn't really have a pattern on the back. That's a bit short. Here's a, just going to see if I've, before I cut into whole pages, just going to see if I've actually got some that have been cut down. No, that's another cute one. No, that's not wide enough. But I'll show you a trick with these, because we can actually get the width across. So I'm going to cut some 3 centimeter strips of this one. And the grain on it runs in a direction that we don't really expect. So I'm going to have to cut a couple more short bits. And one more for good luck, just so I've got enough. I'll show you how to make do with some smaller bits of that one. Already got a piece of that. So this is again another one that I might have to piece some together. Oh, but this is one of my favourite pieces. I really love this stripe. What am I doing? What do I do? That one I've drawn on, scribbled on. I might be able to get some out of one of those. We'll see how we go. Let's see. Is this wide enough? Not quite, but again, I'll join up a couple of pieces, hopefully, to make a decent section of this one. Oops. Little zebras and other animals. How's that stream going? I haven't seen any more posts on the YouTube stream, so I'm not really sure if it's surviving or if it's dying. The joys. That's a 3 meter strip. I'll need another little bit of this cut off here. So much for getting freedom in Victoria to go out and do things. It's just pouring rain today, so, you know, happy days. I'm just going to lay these out so I can quickly see how many layers. I think on the last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I had 9 layers. I might see if I can go a little bit higher on this. It will just depend on whether I've got enough patterns. You can always go back in and put some plain paper, some tissue paper, anything that you've got, that will work. So I've got 1 layer there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good with that one. Now I was going to try and come up with something for this one. That. What else do I have? Where did I put them? Here. I've got my, these are going to need to get trimmed down on a bigger chopping tool. This is the right size already. 1, 2, 3 centimeters, but also I'm going to do, I've just reminded myself, I'm going to do this one on the Oh, oops, a daisy. Just, oops, cut a little tiny little sliver off there. So if I want to cover the whole entire height of this one and just put maybe a little ribbon or something across the top. So for the bottom layer, I need, so that ends up being a 3 centimetre layer. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more layers on top. So if I have 8 layers, that should be plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Look at that. It was meant to be. All right. We'll get into things. Now I'm going to start with one of the panels that is a full panel for the bottom, just so that I can, and I've not cut. It's all well and good to cut things to the right height, but you've got to cut it to the right length as well. So let's go 147 millimeters to do a landscape part. Let's just see if I can't cut some of these down as well if they're not already at the right length, which they are not. 147. What else have I not cut that's a full? No, that one I did cut down. Awesome. These ones that are bit parts, we can cut those down as we go along, and I can use scissors for that. Pop all my little scrappy bits out of the way. Just you and me, Mum. All right, that's okay. People can come back and watch the replay later on. All good. That's why we do the recordings. All right, so starting with one, and I've got some double-sided, just some thin tape, so I'm going to need that quite handy. Scratch that up. And this is the simplest technique. Now, you might have fringing scissors which will do all of this for you, but you basically just want to cut a few millimeters wide and about 2/3 or 2 centimeters of the way up your piece of paper, card, whatever you are using. Probably a good little task to do in front of the TV if you've just got a bunch of, you know, scrap strips that you've cut down to 3 centimeters tall, and you can just sit there and watch a TV series in the background and do some snipping. Just got to watch out with these scissors. They do have a very sharp point on the back, so just try not to stab myself with those. And there we go. Chop, 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 chop. Gets a little bit boring. Hence why it's good to, I don't know, be on a live stream at the time. I can chat to all the people that haven't been able to make it back after the palaver of technology issues that went on, pardon me, a little earlier. So sorry, I didn't test the new settings on the camera that I was using and the connection to the streaming software, and I should have. So once you've done all of your fringing, you can just give it a bit of a rough up, flick it backwards and forwards a little bit. You probably want to have your thumb holding where it's likely to tear across. Don't want it to be, particularly if you're using paper that's a bit thinner than this. This is quite thick and nice. So I'm just going to flip that over. Easiest thing in the world. And just pop double-sided tape just at the top of the strip there. That's all we need, is just that one little strip. Take your backing paper off. And then I'm just going to line this up with the bottom edge of the card and the 2 sides. Just stick that one into place. You can still come back in and muck around with these if they haven't got enough movement or pattern to them. And then from here, I'm just going to take a ruler and a pencil, and I'm just going to mark some quick little lines, just because I want this to be fairly even. But I'm just going to mark 1 centimetre at a time, and that should give me a good indication as to where the tops of my next strips will land. By all means, you can go crazy, do them all different kind of, staggered, and go from there. Now, the thing I like about using all different papers like this is that they're all part of one collection. So the colours that they've used across all of the papers do complement each other. And even though you might not normally put green spots next to pink timber, once you've got all of it in, and there's so many patterns and crazy going on, it doesn't look out of place. It looks like it should be exactly like that. I am a very rigid kind of person with my thoughts on what colour goes with what colour, and I always struggle to do cards like this or any project where it's not my set theory on what colour things should be and what goes with what. So I find this type of project where you've got that, you know, using all of those papers that came together in a pack or a set to begin with, just the easiest thing to kind of do that. I don't have to think about, you know, looking for a colour that goes with the last paper that I put down. So I love it for that. It's always good. Chop, 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 chop. Do a little one there. Again, give it a bit of a rough up. Now you can bend them from wherever I'm just kind of fanning them a little bit backwards and forwards. You can bend a couple, you could curl, use a little quilling tool to kind of, you might want to go crazy and use a quilling tool and do all little rolled round snail kind of edges. Do what you like, give it a go. Worst thing you'll do is go, oh, I've messed that one up. It's a scrap bit of paper anyway. And you can toss that and pick up the next piece. It's not the end of the world. So I like to turn this upside down so that I can see where those two marks are. And I'm just going to pop this down so that it sits just nicely on top of those two pencil lines that I did. Give it a push down, give these another little bit of a flick around before I put another layer on top and I can't really get to them. You can still get back in, but just like to pop it there. All right, now we'll do one of these where we're going to need to match up. Oh, and that's only just going to make it. So basically all we're going to do is fringe one, pop it on, fringe the next one, pop it next to it. And hopefully there's not too much of a difference in the colour tone of the timber from one piece to the next. But look, if people are looking too closely at the differences in the papers, they're probably missing the whole point of that you've made them a lovely handmade card. Spent a lot of time and effort cutting little bits into paper. So how was the last week for everybody? I know for us here in Victoria it was a bit of a countdown to getting a little bit more freedom left. So we don't have a curfew, we don't have what don't we have anymore? We don't have the restrictions of how far we can travel, other than we can't go into regional Victoria if you come from Metro Melbourne and vice versa. So that's, at the moment that's not the worst of things, because I don't need to go into regional for anything, although we are now fairly close to the Metro regional border, so it would be nice to be able to go 5-10 minutes down the road to the next town across, which has some different takeaway food and things like that might be, we've kind of gotten a bit bored already with with the ones that are on offer here, but we'll get there in time. The main thing is we can kind of still have to wear a mask when you're outside and indoors at shopping complexes and things, but it's a little bit less restricted. We can have 10 people to our house now, which we are going to do tomorrow. We've got Ben's brother and girlfriend coming, so that will be nice. Have a bit of dinner, and then next week we'll have my brother and his family of hooligans come over, and we'll have a bit of a lunch. Alrighty, so I'm just going to put this one on. Probably should have popped a little line across here just to make sure I was lining it up, but I'm fairly certain I've got that somewhat straight. Okay, so we're 3 layers in, we're getting there. It's almost like a little, not a rah-rah skirt, but the the fringed kind of skirts. Gosh, weren't rah-rah skirts all the rage? Woo! Showing my age now. Now, again, this is a directional pattern that I struggle with every time I use it because the boats, I don't know, they kind of look like they're the right shape, whether they're upside down or not. Get a little bit confused. This light above my head is really having a little wig out today. Right, now, once I get to here, I need about that much, give or take. So I'll fringe this, I'll stick it on, and then we'll work backwards from there. So yeah, a little bit of freedom, but then the thunderstorms and the clouds and the yucky monkey weather came in. It is exciting to finally have family visit, and hopefully, Mum, you'll be able to come over for Christmas. That's the goal that we're working to. I'm a bit concerned though that, you know, people have all gone out and, I mean, I had friends on Facebook posting the night before, that like literally at midnight their neighbours decided to have a big party. So they had a lot more than 10 people attend. Just after 11:59 p.m. when the restrictions were lifted, and very quickly the police shut that party down, thankfully. But in the meantime, you know, all those people have gone in and they've mingled with each other, and they maybe shouldn't have. So we're just going to be sensible and casual. And then we have booked in to go out on Sunday night, so tomorrow night, to have a meal out, so that we're not kind of a bit sick of eating meals at home, even though we've had lots of different restaurants that we've been able to buy from. But it will be nice just to be able to go out, sit in a restaurant, and appreciate the cooking. I mean, it's very different getting takeaway and having to eat it, whether it takes forever to get delivered back to your house and so it's cold by the time it gets there, or, you know, just like, I'm just sitting at home having a meal. It would be nice to be able to go out again. And I'm going to try and match this one up just a little bit. So I'm going to start with this one, which will be this side, and then we'll try and match up on that side. It'll go close. It's not quite, but because it's a repeating pattern, I haven't cut it millimetre perfect, but it's pretty close. Right. So we started getting our retaining walls in the front garden yesterday. So tradies came over, dug some holes, put some posts in, filled them up with concrete, and promptly disappeared without telling us when they're coming back to finish it. The joy of tradies. I mean, that was better than the day before where we had two trades to come. One was the retaining wall guys and one was the person to come and have a look at the issues that we've got with one of our shower screens, and both were booked to come. Neither of them turned up. Neither of them rang and said, hey, look, I've gotten stuck elsewhere. It was up to us to chase them. So I'm really looking forward to the day that we do not have to deal with tradesmen on a regular basis. Once every now and again is plenty. Just, I don't know how tradies stay in business when they just don't show up. Don't show up, don't call, don't communicate. It's not like, you know, not like I can go anywhere, do anything. So I think I'll just cut this back here. But still, would be nice to know if you're going to come, when you're going to come. Now that we're allowed back out, they're going to have to probably be a little bit more on the ball with, you know, what, making an actual appointment. I think they've kind of gotten a bit complacent because people have just been home. You know, so they can come anytime because they know you're home. You can't go anywhere because you're locked down. Fingers crossed. I don't like my chance. I'm not going to bet anything on the fact that tradies will start to do better on that. Right, so I'm going to have a little bit of a lump in here because this pattern isn't quite perfect. It kind of sits down here. So what I can do, I can line this pattern up So I'm lining it up based on the little seagull that's here. So it is then sitting just a wee bit lower than where that was, but I can go along with my scissors and just cut that little, trim that little couple of millimeters. Make sure you don't get the next layer underneath. Oops, like that. Just trim this. Little confetti bits falling off. No one will ever know. Got bits everywhere now. Because we're going to cover that with the next layer, so no one's ever going to see that. Might be that layer, might be this layer. So that's one way to cover up if you've only got some short pieces but you still really want to use that paper. The other thing that you could do by trimming that is you could cut some little zigzags into your fringing. You could cut some waves into the bottom of that, make it scalloped. It's a bit of messing around, but it's doable. I think it would be great. Just not going to do it freehand on a tutorial on a live stream that's already gone bad. So there's that. Nearly there. We've only got a couple of pieces of paper left to chop up. Chop. Give this a bit of a seeing too. And now it's just a matter of where do we join this other bit in to make it all the way across. It's kind of not working for me. Let's see. Oh, no, that's a white piece altogether. Just seeing if I've got any more. Oh, here we go. Any more of this that I could kind of start to match up a little bit better with the colour palette. Might just chop a little strip off the back of this one. Why not? Right, so we're going to use somewhere in this kind of round. A bit. Like this. About that long. It's not a precise science. Make sure that I'm going to keep the bit that I want to keep up the top and cut the right section. You can cut wide fringes, you can cut narrow, fine fringes. It's totally up to you. Either is fine. Oh, good. Okay. These little bits is done. These papers are really perfect for little people cards. You're right. Mum says on the stream, perfect for little people cards. We found out yesterday. I saw Jyoti, the lady that lives across from us, had her little baby earlier this month, and she had a little baby girl, and she's so adorable. She's very little, she's very cute. She was, they were going off somewhere in the car yesterday, and she pulled over to the side of the road and had a bit of a chat before they went on their way. That was nice. Nice to see her, see that they're all doing well. Okay. Mum was still sitting in the back seat next to the baby capsule. I think she's still such a new little baby, and she's a little bit, even though it's not her first child, but I think she's still still in that new mum phase of just not wanting to be any way away from the baby and making sure that she's safe in the car and all of that sort of stuff. So that's a bit cute. All right, second last one. Here we go. Coming a little bit high. I do feel a little bit bad chopping up little bunny rabbits in this paper. Putting my scissors through it. Oh, and now we just have news flashes of businesses that are going to claim to be non-discriminatory towards anyone who's had COVID vaccinations or not had COVID vaccinations in order to have them out. It's just crazy. Just crazy. Protect yourself, protect other people. It's not that hard. If you've got a legitimate reason to not have it, your doctor will give you an exemption, but they're not going to give an exemption to people for just, I don't want to, or I have a crazy scientific theory that came off the internet. It's got to be legitimate. And I don't begrudge people that have, tricky immune systems from, I think it's probably wise if your doctor says there's still a little bit too much risk involved with having that injection, then fair enough. But if you're just a regular Joe like the rest of us with no major health conditions, just do it. Like the old Nike ad. Just do it. I think it's easier to get 2 injections in a couple of weeks than it is to have to go to extreme measures to try and get around the rules. I think that's just a really bizarre, thought that, you know what would be easier is I'll just, figure out how I can forge a digital certificate, or I'll figure out how I can, I'll only go to businesses where they don't make me get a vaccination, or just seems like a lot of work. Just do the right thing and it's just easier. And don't give people a hard time when they're just enforcing the government's requests. Like, there's already been people that have had altercations in shops and things like that because they're not complying with the rules and they get told no and they don't like getting told no. But I would really like for that not to happen. Here we go. Last one down. I am going to end up with this one. I could either end up with, if I did it centimetre by centimetre and kept it perfect, I will end up with a little white strip at the top. So I'm just going to make this one, just sit this one a little bit higher. No one will probably notice except me. I'll know that it's not perfect. But it's up to you. On this one, of course, I left a big white gap at the top, so I didn't go all the way up, and it just gave me a nice little bit of negative space to sit that little greeting in. The colour on this camera today, now that I've mucked around with everything, is horrendous. It's going to be a lot of fixing going on before the next live. It's just so annoying. So annoying. So that is the base. So it's a little bit shabby chic kind of fringing. That's kind of cool. I'm going to get, I didn't see it before, over here. Just like a white gel pen. And hopefully it's going to work and show up on here. I'm just going to do some little fake stitching just across here. I might do 2 rows actually, just to fill up a little bit of space. You could also put a ribbon across there, another strip of just patterned paper if you liked. Whatever takes your fancy. I think a little bit of stitching just kind of fits in with what we've done. Now I'm trying to freehand a gap. We'll see. We'll see if this goes straight or not. Again, it's handmade. I haven't actually used a sewing machine. It's all good. All right. Now, what did I have in? I was going to use Happy Birthday again, but you know what? I'm going to pop back into these little packs and see. Just a little pack that came here. Welcome. Could be a welcome for anything, wouldn't it? Did I have a thank you in this kit this month? I can't remember. Maybe I did and I've used it in another kit, another card. I'll put a little cute guy on there. Welcome over here. Down the bottom. I could just leave it like that and I'll figure something out. I might put that on and I'll put some embellishment bits across here. Just a few over here. Perhaps. One of those. We've got another one of these in here. There we go. Kind of evenly space these out and then I'll pop my little reindeer on there. That looks kind of cute. So I might leave that there for today. I feel like we've had a few extra struggles than normal, but hopefully that gives you some ideas for some fringed card fronts that you can make for any occasion with any papers that you like. You can make it with wrapping paper if you have some, but it's especially handy for any of those little bitsy scraps that you've got laying around. You can change the height to fit the scraps that you've got left over. 3 centimeters just kind of worked for the patterns that I was using today and the scraps that I had left, and decorate away. So thank you for joining me. Sorry for the technical glitches earlier, but we got through there in the end. I'll be back again next week, and I'm just trying to find, here's my little, under some stuff on my desk. What are we doing? We're making a waterfall card next week. So that's got some great little flip down panels on it, or flip up, whichever way you're kind of making the mechanism work. So that's going to be a great card to make as well, with lots of different applications that you can use that for. So we'll be back for that one next week. Hopefully in the meantime, we'll clear up all these tech glitches, make sure we've got clear vision, and you know, maybe fix up that color a little bit better. I don't know why it's gone a bit greeny blue today, but anyway, that's what's happened. It's live and you can tell. So thank you so much for joining me. We'll catch you again next week. In the meantime, have a great week. Bye bye.